I'm Justin Jensen, and welcome to my channel. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and may fall again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. Teddy Roosevelt. Order in the court. How's everyone doing? Hope you're well. Good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate your time. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Idaho 4, of course. Going to be talking about Elliot Rodger, who was the first incel, if you will. Means, being celibate is what incel means. And it's just men who, I guess, I don't think women, I'm pretty sure it's just a man that is celibate. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about Elliot Rodger versus Bryan Kohberger and some interesting things about Papa Rodger. I'm still not 100% sure on this Papa Rodger thing, to be quite honest with you. Nonetheless, it's interesting. So thank you all for being here. While you guys are coming in, please hit that thumbs up. Hit it. April says she has been celibate for over 3 years, not by choice. Well, I wish I was celibate for the last 3 years. I'm just kidding. A woman actually coined the term referring to themselves, the word incel. That is interesting. Just a girl. I like that. Good to see everyone. Yes, please hit that thumbs up button. Okay, can everyone hear me okay and all that? Let me know. And we will get started. Get you a drink, make yourself comfortable. We got a lot to talk about. Where did you learn that, just a girl? Just curious. That's curious. I like, facts that I'll never use again too. So son is okay. He's good. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, great. Sound great. Okay. So, well, and also what is coming about is Nancy Grace visited one of the neighbors who, I guess, was friendly with Bryan, but his wife did not really, she was kind of spooked out by him, to be honest with you. And let's go ahead and we'll watch that. I suppose we'll watch that, and then let's talk about it before we get into all of the deep work here. Okay, that's not it. Screen. All right, here we go. Let me know if y'all can hear this. It might be a little low. It's going to give you a 4-second commercial. Sorry. Okay, no sound. Perfect. Let me restart this then. Here we go.
He actually says that he heard about the murders.
Yeah, it's so low.
He said he heard about these murders. I was like, yeah, that's because it just happened. He's like, yeah, it seems like they don't have any leads. And I was like, yeah, I guess not. And he's like, yeah, they think it's a crime of passion. I was like, yeah, well, I don't know. And then he kind of left it at that, but he did bring that up. Like, it was a normal conversation.
Of Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger telling Nancy Grace what Kohberger said to him about the killing of 4 college students. This comes as Kayla Gonzalez's parents revealed she had actually moved out of the house but returned the day before the attack. Nancy Grace joins me now to discuss. Nancy, you've been out front on this. Tell me about that revelation right there. I mean, he's not just sick, but premeditated.
Well, I've got to tell you something. Did you see that video that you just played, Al? The way we had to cut it is because the neighbor and many other people in his apartment complex do not want to go down in history as Bryan Kohberger's friend. They don't want their name out there. You know, you were there.
Can you imagine going, being associated with Bryan Kohberger, like being his friend? I mean, I wouldn't want my face shown either.
There too. They don't want their name attached in any way.
Can't blame him.
Also, that neighbor also told me that he had been asked by Kohberger's father when he moved Kohberger into the you can't see the face, the apartment, anything there, and we did that to protect him. Kohberger's father moved him in, like when you take somebody to college and your parents move you in, and actually asked the neighbor, "Hey, will you be his friend?" Because he couldn't.
Do you think that's weird? Do you think that's weird, like wanting... I got something on my face here. I don't know what it is, but do you think that's weird that his dad brings him there and he's like, will you be his friend? He's 28 years old? Hi, will you be... Yes, exactly. It's so weird, SoFlo. He's not 4. Will you be my 28-year-old son's friend? He's got a PhD or he's working on it.
Friends. It's like setting up a play date, and at some point the neighbor's wife said, "Don't bring him back. I've got a bad feeling. Do not have him back in this apartment."
Nancy, you've been...
So the neighbor says to her husband, who was, trying to be Bryan's friend, don't bring him back in this apartment. He's a weirdo. I just got a bad feeling. You got a bad vibe. And honestly, the way Kohberger hit his eyes is something that were really spooky to me. They're very spooky. They're like some type of greenish looking. I don't know.
I thought it was, a sixth sense.
You've been doing this for a long time. I gotta interrupt you real quick because the father is still a clue in this. Do you think he's going to be charged as well? Does he know more than he's letting out off to the public?
I think the only thing he may be guilty of is knowing his son may be involved and covering or not doing anything. From what I've learned, everyone says this dad is pretty straightforward.
Okay, what's your thoughts? Do you think the father knew? Do you think he knew about his son? I need to get rid of that chat box. Okay. I think I did it right. Okay. I mean, he had to suspect. You don't just, know that this murder has gone on. You don't know your son is just a freak, allegedly. And then you're like, oh, let me go get him while this is going around. And we're going to drive halfway across the country. By the way, he drives the same kind of car. And then we got pulled over twice. Like, maybe he didn't know, right? Maybe he didn't know what all, like, but he had to, it had to have went across his mind. I think you're right, probably, Eden. Gut feeling, I think, but in denial. But I also think, can you imagine your child doing this as well? I don't know if anybody could.
Nice guy, talkative, friendly, open book. I mean, we all see our own children with blinders on, so I don't know how much he knew but didn't want to know. But you were talking about Kelly. She wasn't even supposed to be there. She had already moved out to take an IT job set up in Austin. And she came back that weekend to go to a party and show her best friend, Maddie, they've been friends since 6th grade, her new car. Now, that is heartbreaking because she almost missed the entire incident. But I'm also learning that it could be evidentiary in that she may not have been the target unless he was watching her on social and knew she was coming back.
Do you think Bryan was watching Kaylee or Maddie and it happened right at that time because maybe Kaylee was going away, she just happened to be in that house? Or do you think Maddie was, the one with that he was after? Because clearly one or the other had more visible damage, trauma.
That's interesting, Nancy, because as you know, we both talked with the Gonzalez family, and they talked about those stab wounds. We know that she was in the bed also with Maddie, and there were differences in the severity of those stab wounds. It's a lot to uncover here. Nancy, you got a special coming out to Fox Nation. The special is The Parallels of Evil, the Bundy and Idaho killings. You know I'm going to watch it.
Thank you, El.
So there we have that. So you guys think it was more Maddie, that he was after Kaylee and Ethan because they were not supposed to be there. I definitely don't think Ethan. But now this is the thing with Kaylee, we have to remember that she lived there prior. And, she moved out. She was getting ready to move to Texas. And she just happened to be back that night. She had just got her new car. But we also know that regardless of whether Kaylee was there, he was still stalking all of these people in the house, all the girls in the house, right? So does that mean it was more Maddie than Kaylee? It's very confusing because on one hand you think, well, Kaylee was there prior, she moved out, she came back one night, the murders happened. But then he's still, I wonder this, if he was stalking Kaylee at wherever, if she was living with her parents, was he outside there? Was he outside wherever Kaylee was staying? Was he outside of her house? Their house? She did work there, and they do serve a few vegan. That is true. I wonder if he thought one was DM and he thought Kaylee was gone. And when he drove by and no 911 yet, I bet he thought he got them all, including DM. Very interesting observation there. He came around at 9 o'clock the next morning, right? The police had not yet been called. I also wonder, was he shitting his pants wanting to go get that sheath, that knife sheath, right? So, thank you. I can't see it because it's too small. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this new program. I'm sorry. ICU says, I feel like there was some type of communication, and this is why the girls were calling Jack. BK left his apartment around the same time. Interesting. I wonder if they got some type of message, to make, to put fear in them. We don't know a bunch of this. The affidavit that's out, it tells us a lot more than I ever thought, but it's still only a tenth. Yes, he didn't know anyone was in the house and found them. I don't know, man. It's, in my opinion, not going back for the sheath the next AM shows he knows he left survivors in there. That could be a point as well. That could be a point as well. He went back at 9 a.m. There was clearly no police, no 911 call yet. But did he know that there was survivors in there? I have teens with ears, they hear nothing. Same. He could have not known Kaylee was there since her normal car wasn't there. Well, listen, I bet Kaylee, the first thing she did when she got that car was put it on social media. Guaranteed. Because they were huge on social media. They had a big presence on social media. Did they say how he came in the house? That he came, this is my thought. While while Xana was getting the food from the DoorDash driver, she was at the front door. He was coming through the back door. And I think when she was headed to her room, that's may have been when something took place, or he was close by. He had to see the DoorDash driver. They didn't give me a straw at McDonald's. I'm sorry. Not only she worked hard for what she had, she always worked hard. How many of you guys saw the Dateline? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 if you didn't. If you didn't, I recommend seeing it. I think he returned at the scene the morning like most killers do return to the scene. I think he was in shock that there was no police there yet. Okay. 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 2 1 2 1 2. So a mixed bag. Looks like it's a mixed bag. But where do you watch the replay of Dateline? Check on YouTube. A lot of people, you thought the 2020 was better. I don't know if I saw the 2020. I saw Dateline and I saw what's the other one? Dateline and then something else. 48 hours. 48 hours. I saw 48 hours and I saw the Dateline. I did not see the 2020. Oh, just a girl's your bunny? Something wrong with your bunny? I'm sorry. All right, so let's talk about this. Please. Let me find it. Maybe not the right. Okay. My Twisted World. The story of Elliot Rodger, an autobiography. Elliot Rodger was the first major incel. That he was like, he's the one that really made the term incel what it is today. He wrote an autobiography about himself that right before he died. Elliot is scary or was scary. Yes. Yeah. Hulu has it. 2020. Okay. So this is a picture of Elliot Rodger. He came from a well-to-do family. His father was assistant or co-director on the Hunger Games. And he wrote an autobiography and a statement of great value for the light it sheds on his personality, dynamics, and functions. We're going to look at that. And we're going to compare it to who Bryan Kohberger is. I'm muted. Can you not hear me? Hello, hello. You should be able to hear me. I think you might be muted, darling. One of my gifts. I told the girls at work BK looked like. Okay. Okay. Just making sure you can hear me. Okay. So Elliot Rodger specified that he planned to target the Alpha, is it Phi? Is that how you pronounce it? Sorority, whose members he had deemed the hottest at the college. Quote, the kind of girls I've always desired, but was never able to have. These are his words from his autobiography. These are his words right here, right? The kind he deemed the hottest at the college. Now, this makes me wonder if this is where Bryan Kohberger got the idea. And if he is Papa Rodger, which I don't even know at this point. Dateline talked about it. What else did I think? I forget. A lot of them talked about it. The Supreme Judge. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute, Tracy. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Now, but in his autobiography, if you will, he does say that he is going after, and regardless of whether it's Papa Roger or not, did Bryan Kohberger look toward these serial killers or these incels as inspiration? Papa Roach. They should have the hots. Now, that is the question, because Elliot Rodger clearly thought he was a god. I'm going to show you a more rare video of Elliot Rodger, actually. So you can get an idea about him before we continue. Is what I will do. Share screen. Because I mean, you can clearly see that he, in my opinion, he doesn't get it all. Let me know if it echoes. Watch how he stands and how he always addresses himself the same way.
Hey, Elliot Rodger here. Today I'm at Sarania Park. I just took a nice long hike up in those hills. I would say this is one of the most significant places of my life. I grew up here. My parents used to always take me here when I was a kid. Back when my life was happy and fair. Back when I thought the world was fair. How naive I was. I was only an innocent child. And now, here I am. After living a horrible, unjust life. A wasted youth. Deprived of identity.
Okay, so this is Elliot Rodger. This was the first major incel. He took out many lives. It's echoing. Okay, I'll fix it then. He took out many lives. He thought that women did not like him. He thought he was the most handsome, the most smart, the most intelligent, and everyone else was scum. And he wanted to rid the world from women. And from, I guess, some types of guys too, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is exactly what he wanted to do.
Any sort of fun or enjoyment or pleasure, all because females were never attracted to me. Right now I'm wearing my Hugo Boss shirt. It's one of my favorite button-down shirts. This is a shirt I wore to the premiere of The Hunger Games. I look fabulous.
As you can tell, he is clearly not steeped in reality, to say the very least. He is not in reality. I look fabulous. And yes, I did wear this to the Hunger Games. And yes, I did walk the red carpet. Please.
And yeah, I did walk on the red carpet on that premiere. It was quite an experience indeed.
And that is exactly right. No wonder nobody wanted him. Because this is the thing. Nobody who is obsessed with themselves has time or energy to put it into someone else who already loves themselves more than anybody else. I mean, nobody could love him more than he could love himself. I'm just going to say that. Because he thought he was just, everything. Arrogance, exactly. And that is exactly what we are talking about. So Elliot Rodger, he shot and killed Catherine Cooper, 22 years old, Veronica West, 19, members of another sorority outside the Alpha Phi house. He also stabbed to death 3 young men, Chen Yan Hung, 20, Weihen Wang, 20, George Chen, 19. He injured 14 when he traveled around firing at random in his car and fatally shot Christopher Michaels. Thank you so much. I wish I could see, but I can't see. I don't know what that is, so I'm sorry. Thank you for whatever that is, a subscription or something. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So he left a big trail. Not only did Elliot shoot, but he also stabbed. Usually a killer does one or the other, right? Exclusively one or the other. Not Elliot. He shot, stabbed, ran over, and just fired aimlessly. He was also a YouTuber. He had a channel where, he let his plan be known. He let it be known. Yeah, they don't care. I think that Bryan wrote that on Reddit. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. So those were his victims. Now, with Elliot Rodger, with Bryan Kohberger, neither one of them respected anyone that didn't think or believe the way they did. They were the supreme in thought and understanding, and anyone else was just stupid. As we know, Bryan Kohberger, when he raised his hand in class, he wanted to tell everyone, the entire class, explain it to the nth degree, and then the neighbor, or not the neighbor, the classmates would say, "Oh God, here comes Bryan. It's going to take up the entire class." The video call. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Thank you, Shelley. Now, but rolled my eyes. So, Elliot Rodger wanted to describe, or not Elliot Rodger, Bryan Kohberger wanted to describe everything to the 10th degree. And the reason he wanted to do that, he didn't want to let anyone else join in on the conversation. He wanted to tell everyone everything about it. We know that he demanded control and respect in classroom and in life, and he tried to make others feel beneath him. Now, Elliot Rodger would also drive around to college parties. And in that, he would say he would be overcome with rage. Now, another factor we know about Bryan Kohberger, he was stalking sorority girls at 1122 King Road. I see you got locked out of his account. This is him. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm confused about what's happening in chat, so sorry. So we know that they would, is this where Bryan Kohberger, one of the reasons, one of the whys, one of the hows, is this what made him go to sorority girls? He was already, in college and all of that, and he had some type of rage. 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. So, yes, let's continue. Okay. Elliot was, as scrawny and skinny as he was in a bodybuilding forum, which Elliot saw himself in ways that others might not, if you haven't noticed. And he thought that he was just the bee's knees. He was in a bodybuilding forum in which he would make racist comments about how a quote Indian in a Honda Civic, who he said was ugly, with a blonde chick, and said racist slurs. Another thing that we do know about Bryan is he has been known to make racist and homophobic slurs to people who know him. So it was a way of, it's not that either one of them didn't, both are very educated. It wasn't the lack of education that kept them from being racist or anything else. It was just another way to belittle and demean people. Oh, Nosy, I hope you feel better, honey. So, we know nothing about Bryan Kohberger speculation. Really? We know nothing about Bryan Kohberger. That's interesting. Well, I mean, we know exactly what all of his friends and his classmates and the people he taught and his neighbors and from, school up. So there we go. Did I read that one? Okay. Incels usually live a very anti-social life. Elliot Rodger's father was an assistant director for the Hunger Games, like I said earlier. And in 2012, it was Elliot, in which Elliot got Hollywood perks, he said in the video as well, because of his father. He would post pictures of him on private aircrafts, private planes, private Katy Perry concerts, but he was always alone. Bryan Kohberger was known, if you watch the 2020, not the 2020, the Dateline, the students of his, and when he went to school, they would always say Bryan would never be seen on campus. He would never be seen walking on campus. The only place you would see him is the classroom. He didn't talk to anybody at the weddings. One of his very close friends growing up she hadn't seen him for a couple years, and she hugged him, and she said it was such a weird hug. Such a weird hug. And, these people want attention, but for some reason they can't get past themselves to, to receive it. So it's just one of those things. Now, signs and symptoms of anyone with narcissistic personality disorders and severity and symptoms vary. People with the disorder, now, if you think of this, and from what we know of Bryan Kohberger and Elliot Rodger, we know more about Elliot Rodger, I would say, than we do Bryan Kohberger as of now. But from what we have been told, you can see how most of these kind of fit. People with the disorder can have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. Yeah, I think check. Have a sense of entitlement and required constant, excessive admiration. Oh, you do it all. You're awesome. There's nobody better than you. You have the best. Kind of, one of those. Experts. Hold on one second. Where was it? Experts to be recognized as, expects to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. So they want to be recognized for the smallest of things. And, you go back to his dad saying, will you be Bryan's friend? He's 28 years old. That's odd. That's odd. I mean, did he grow up by saying, oh, yes, you do everything great, so great, so great. You're the best, like, was that overstated for Bryan, or is this just something that's natural within his be preoccupied with fantasy about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. So, check. I think, in my opinion, from what we know about both of them, this is it fits pretty well. Believe that they are superior and can only associate with equally special people. And this was a big Bryan one, in my opinion. Monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior. The thing that Bryan would do in class. Of course, I'm not diagnosing anyone. This is something that Bryan would do in class. He would want to let everything out to the nth degree. Mod, you can block people if they're trying to be idiots, like rude about things or whatever. At the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorders have trouble handling anything they perceive as criticism, and they can. and they can become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment, have significant interpersonal problems, and easily feel slighted, react with rage or contempt, and try to belittle the other person to make themselves appear superior, have difficulty regulating emotions or behavior, experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting to change, feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection, have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, being vulnerable, and humiliation. Was he in the incel club? There is a couple incel clubs that was really big. I've got a study here. Let me see if I can find it. There's a study here that talks about the incel clubs. I don't know if I can find it real quick or not, but it's just amazing the mind of these human beings who really just go freaking nuts. Okay, let me show you this, guys. Let me show you this video really quick.
Hey, Elliot Rodger here. Right now I'm going on a little tour through Isla Vista.
Let me know if there is an echo.
This is when all the college parties happen. Look in there. There's a party happening right now. I believe it's a fraternity of some sort.
I'm whatever I want to be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Not being rude.
I'm gonna show you all a short little tour of this college town called Isla Vista, which is located right next to UCSB.
So, let me find it. This is him on a YouTube, like literally checking out all of these sororities. Checking them out. He is stalking them, more or less, is exactly what he's doing.
Every time I drive through this place, I am overcome with rage, because I see
Every time he drives through this place, he is overcome with rage. I'm going to...
so many guys walking around with beautiful blonde girls, enjoying their lives, while I've lived here for more than 2 years in loneliness. No one's ever invited me to parties. No girls have been attracted to me. I've never had the pleasure of walking through this town with a beautiful girl on my arm. I've had to watch other boys experience the life that I deserve. I'm gonna show you all right now exactly what I've been suffering through. This is the main center of the town where all the shops are. And I'm about to drive to the street that's adjacent to the ocean, and that's where all the house parties.
No, his YouTube was taken down after the murder of a lot. And yes, I don't know who's saying autism or Asperger's or whatever, but that's never, we have no idea about anybody with, that has, Asperger's or autism, and that certainly doesn't make you a murderer. You know, being schizophrenic doesn't make you a murderer. You know, we can't tie, you know, a mental or a physical disorder as making you a murderer. I mean, you can have it and be a murderer, but it doesn't make a person. It's like a serial killer. Not one thing makes them a serial killer. It is a recipe of many things. It's like the perfect storm.
Parties happen. See? Groups of young people everywhere. Here it is. I'm approaching a street called Del Playa. Yes, that's the main street. So many beautiful girls walking around here. But they would never give me a chance. See, look at that one. I just passed one. They would reject me at every turn.
He drives around and he literally says, they'll reject me. It's like, say hello first, dude. How about that? Oh, no problem. He wants to be the victim. I mean, he comes from wealth and everything. You know, he could have had probably anybody won if he would have just, you know, got over himself and got some help. You know, he just really needed some help, man. But it's too late now. Way too late.
Young couples walking around. It makes me so envious. Here we are. It's still only 10 p.m., so it's not very active yet. It usually gets active at around 10:30. Look, it's the house I got beat up at when I walked in on the party. That was about almost a year ago now. Back in August of 2013. Here we go. Look at this. Groups of hot young sluts who would just reject me. And these, look at these douchebags right here. These assholes, these obnoxious little slobs. Those are the kind of guys that girls...
Right there, you can start hearing the freaking rage in him. And it's scary. It's quite scary that it comes out of him. And the rage wasn't roll your window down and call him that, right? The rage was, you know, he was being very passive about it. And it just built up and built up and built up.
like, instead of magnificent gentlemen like myself. See, guys like this. Oh wait, no. Not guys like those. Those guys were ugly as fuck, but... See, look here. A house party. Beautiful girls talking with their frat boys. I hate them all.
I mean, if you're having a party and then a car pulls out in the street and they're pointing a freaking camera at you, that's not a way to get somebody. That's not a way to get somebody.
They think they're better than me. They'll never accept me as one of them. Those girls would never go for me. Police car. Whoa. God damn. I'm so glad that police car didn't stop me for holding up my cell phone. I've already gotten a parking ticket this month. Looks like we're approaching the end of Del Playa here. Hold on, let me check if I'm getting some good footage. Am I? Well, that was my first tour of this horrible, wretched, depraved town. There will be many more to come. Here I am, Elliot Rodger. Beautiful, magnificent gentleman. Though the girls around this town don't see it. They hang around with those slobs, those obnoxious, horrible, disgusting men, but they never give me a chance. That's why my life is so unfair. Oh look, even more houses full of obnoxious college students right there. It's just ridiculous. Popular boys, outgoing boys, obnoxious, boisterous, extroverted boys. Those are the boys that girls like. I mean, yes, I'm a shy, quiet guy, but I have good qualities to myself. I'm a gentleman. You know, I'm sophisticated, I'm polite. I have good values. And I can be fun too, if they just give me a chance to open up. But girls never give me a chance because they're evil and cruel like that. Okay, we've reached a quiet spot. This would be a good place to end the video. This world does not make sense.
So that's Elliot Rodger. You get to see, he says, yes, I'm quiet and I'm shy, but I have good qualities. And he thought he was supreme. He really did. Going back to this, Elliot Rodger, he wrote repeatedly about the feelings of inferiority came to view himself as superior to all of humanity. The following passage demonstrates this dynamic. He wrote, "I am not part of the human race. Humanity has rejected me. The females of the human species have never wanted to mate with me. So how could I have possibly consider myself part of humanity? Question mark. Thank you for gifts. Thank you for gifts. Thank you for gifts. Thank you so much. Humanity has never accepted me among them, and now I know why. I am more than human. I am superior to all of them. Women's rejection of me is a declaration of war. And if it's war they want, then war they shall have. It will be a war that will result in their complete and utter annihilation. I will deliver a blow to my enemies that all to be catastrophic. So catastrophic, it will redefine the very essence of human nature. Where do you start? I mean, this is anger. This is anger that he wanted the human race. He felt so wronged that he felt the human race should basically be separated and extinct. What did he do? He ended up murdering 3 of his roommates, going to a sorority, murdering people outside the sorority. The sorority was locked, and he ended up murdering girls outside of the sorority. Went to a convenience store. He shot, injured 13 or 14 people there, and then ran over people and then put it on himself. Bryan would brag to other males that he could have any girl he wanted. Was this him trying to prove that he was a god in his own mind to other women? Or did he actually think he could? If a woman would reject him, what would happen? Bryan bragged about to other girls getting any, or other guys getting any girl that he wanted. Now, did he do this to lift himself up, to build himself up and think, well, if a girl rejects me, something is wrong with them because I am supreme, I am everything, right? But he didn't really have a lot of relationship with girls. Oh, thank you for the gifts. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting my channel. It really means a lot. He came to view sex as the source of misery and wrote about doing away with sexuality by virtually eliminating females from the planet. Now, this is clearly not rational thinking. You can't eliminate females from the planet. You got to have, male and female to make more people, right? That's just the way it is. He was a spoiled rich kid with Hollywood producer dad. That he was, yes. He did have a psychotic break, and he continually, over and over and over, did so many videos of people following him. And most people just thought he was just a doofus. to be quite honest with you. But as sad as it is, he had a lot of following. A lot of following. And let me show you. After the day of his murders, let me find it so I can put it up for you. You're not going to believe the sick things he did, or the sick things people did. Elliot Rodger. Okay. Now, people put private recruit, wishing speak, the incel rebellion has already begun. We will overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. All hail the supreme gentleman, Elliot Rodgers. Not only would that happen, but several versions of his videos, which the BBC raised with YouTube, have now been deleted. All of his channel has been deleted, but he would put in, others would put up Supreme Gentleman. He was known as the Supreme Gentleman because of how he viewed himself, and he was called the Supreme Gentleman. And now, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support, Camille. I appreciate it. Means a lot. Really does. Thank you. Thank you so much. He would make, people would make shirts, different, clothes and everything else. Elliot Rodger, Supreme Gentleman. If that's not sick, I don't know what is. But he does fit the profile of a trust fund kid and don't deal with the word no very well. Well, yes, narcissists do not deal with the word no very well. None of them do. None. Nobody likes the word no, like if you're wanting something or whatever. Nobody likes that. But it doesn't mean that it takes on this, twisted, obsession of someone wronging them. And that's what happens if you try to challenge them. It's not going to be, in our favor, so to say. In December, the social news website Reddit banned an incel discussion group. It was huge for Elliot Rodger and for other incels. Reddit finally banned it. What is a manosphere? The incel community is just as one of the misogynist groups that exist within the so-called manosphere, a web of online blogs and forums which reject mainstream conceptions of gender inequity. So others include Men Going Their Own Way, also known as MGTOW, a group which focuses on self-ownership and believes men have been disadvantaged by modern society's developments. arguably the best known group is called the Red Pill, a Reddit subforum with more than 200,000 members. That's scary. Which says its focus is a, quote, discussion of sexual strategy in a cult increasingly lacking a positive identity for men. So those were 3 of the most popular incel groups. Very, very interesting. When you have someone who, they're making shirts on and they're saying all hail a supreme gentleman. These are just equally as sick minds out there that all of us, every one of us, have to keep our eyes open. If you see something, say something. It's very important. If you see something, say something. He was a young virgin. In order to completely abolish sex, women themselves would have to be abolished. All women must be quarantined like the plague that they are, so that they can be used in a manner that actually benefits a civilized society. This is his writing. This is the sickness that goes on in their head, but the compulsion is so great that they have to enact on it. And it's like a serial killer. They'll start with animals, but they work their way up until they just explode. Under the control of one divine ruler, such as myself, meaning Elliot Rodger, the first strikes against women will be to quarantine all of them into, he literally says, concentration camps. At these camps, the vast majority of the female population will be deliberately starved to death. A few women would be spared, however, for the sake of reproduction. These women would be kept and bred in secret labs. This man, this is what psychologists and psychiatrists and all of them says, like, to someone like this, we are just literally objects, just an object in their way. Future generations of men would be oblivious to the remaining women's existence, and that is for the best. If a man grows up without knowing of the existence of women, there would be no desire for sex, which is so untrue. That is so untrue. Sexuality will completely cease to exist. Love will cease to exist. He watched too much Handmaid's Tales. Yes. Starved to death. He doesn't want even love in the world because he feels like he has been done so wrong. That all love, all sex, because of him and him alone, the world should stop in its place. The passage contains a grandiose view of himself as well as a bizarre I can't say this word, misogynistic ideology about purifying the world by eliminating women, love, and sex. Not only was Rodger out of touch with reality in terms of his own identity, but he had strange ideas and beliefs. And that's to say, the very least. Elliot Rodger and Bryan Kohberger wanted to destroy what they wanted most. Because I can't have this woman. Because you tell me no. Because I want this so bad, but I get in my own way, but they can't see that they get in their own way, that they want to destroy something they want more than anything, which is love, which is sex, but they want to, get rid of this. Who thinks I'm still very tied up about this? He took his coward virgin life, yeah. But sadly, it's not that he took his own. The sad thing is that he took beautiful lives that were thriving, were healthy, at a college, at a gas station down the road. So, how many of you think Papa Rodger is related? Put a 1. Put a 2 if you don't know, and put a 3 if no. Because they talked about him on Dateline and all of that. Really, a lot of ones. He certainly knew a lot. Regardless of what we think, we can say that the person knew a lot, and I don't know how. It does look a lot like him. It must be when you have to. Okay, thank you. Hey, Little Texas. Okay. This was from the University of Idaho. And this person puts, I really think Papa Rodger was BK. I saved some screenshots from him. I think he got locations wrong on his drawing, but maybe he got the bedroom mixed up. And maybe at the time he left, Ethan was in the, he thought Ethan was in the living room, but then possibly crawled back to try to help Xana. That could be why Dylan heard a male saying, I'm okay, I'm going to help you. I think it's weird how Papa Rodger seemed to have known a lot, and that the initial suspect time frame was wrong. I think BK first killed Maddie and Kaylee, forgot to pick up his sheath as he heard Xana say something say someone is here, so panicked when he killed her too, and then was met with Ethan at the bottom of the stairs, who he did not expect to see, killed him, and then Xana, and left through the sliding glass doors. Now, my dad was an attorney and also bought and sold foreign cars for a living. My first car. Okay. Interesting. Before it all came out, I'd put dollars on it. It was him, 3 dots. Well, Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there, right? Kaylee was not to. I mean, was Kaylee? Kaylee was there for a night. She was visiting. She wanted to, say goodbye to Maddie because she was going to Texas, and she wanted to show her new Range Rover and all of that. Now there was two Papa Rogers, and you think of Elliot Rodgers, and then you think of Papa Rogers, and you're like, is that where Papa Rogers got his? Could he got his name from there? Jackie, I think it's called the red pill. Did she post she was going to be there? I don't know, Roxy. And that's the thing. Like, they were constantly on social media posting everything. Everything. They were, but did she post that she was going to be there? Or did Maddie say, oh my God, Maddie, we're going to party it up tonight and have a good time before, in her new Range Rover before she got here? I don't know. I really don't. The dad asking the neighbor to be Bryan's friend shows his family knew he had problems. It's an uncommon thing to ask someone, oh, will you be my 28-year-old son's friend? Camille says, my dad was like, oh, don't worry, baby, it's only yours until someone wants to buy it, LOL. That's funny. So there's that. I didn't put these pictures. Crap, I forgot to put these pictures to the slideshow. But maybe I've got it here. Let me see if I've got it. Maybe. Maybe not. So I was going to show, someone posted on this and they said, okay, I have a family that owns an HVAC company. So it had me thinking, why on earth was an HVAC van at the house on December 7th? Do you guys remember December 7th? Whenever everybody was like, why is there an HVAC van there? I started digging, and here's what Sarah found. I looked at all the rooms at King's house, and only Madison and Kaylee's room on the third floor had vents on the floor. You can see the floor vents on the picture in both floors. I have the picture somewhere, but I can't. I'll try to pull them up. But anyway, you can see the floor vents in the picture in both floors. Floor vents can heat more effectively than walls or ceiling vents, especially with cold weather there. There is not always a filter inside of it, but a grate can open up and looks like ductwork inside a hole. If you've ever opened up the floor vent, there's ductwork there. Maddie's room, let me pull this up. Maddie's room was so tiny and her bed was right next to the floor vent. We know both girls were found in the same bed. I guarantee you that law enforcement opened up, and I would be shocked if there wasn't blood DNA on one or both of the girls. I think it said vents there, and possibly even his if he got cut, meaning DNA left in the vents, any skin cells, any blood, anything. You couldn't help, but they may have checked the floor vents to get any sort of DNA, anything. If Kaylee fought back even a little bit, it would be possible that that the splatter would have ended up inside the grate, and there was that way BK could clean it out even if he got his own DNA in it. Like, that would be an area where Bryan allegedly could not have even cleaned his own DNA up, the floor vents. And if you, I wish I had the pictures. I have them somewhere, but I don't know what let me see if, okay. I think I got it. Here we go. Maybe. Okay. I got some. So what I can do is show you these. So this is a floor vent, right? This is a floor vent, and very tiny room. This is Maddie's room. This is the room that they were in. Very small. Humans shed skin cells like crazy. Absolutely. Particularly if make sure y'all can see that. Oh, y'all aren't seeing that. Hold on one second. I'm trying to show you the other one. Not video, screen, window. Okay, that was Kaylee's room. That's still not the one I want to show you. I want to show you Maddie's room. Small room. The bed was right over the vent. Right over the vent. And any sort of, I don't remember if it was placed, I think it was placed this way right here, like this, long ways. It was placed like this, not like this, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Kaylee had finished school. Maybe when heat was on, blood was blowing out of the droplets in the, who knows? We lose 200 to 500 hairs a day. That's why I'm halfway bald. His hair he has, I mean, it's, you walk into some place, your DNA is in there. Abso-freaking-lutely. 2 people being brutally murdered just feet away. I don't think there was time to hear anything. Within 3 to 5 seconds, you are out. You are out. If they cut the throat area, which they're saying that it's most likely the chest area, you don't have any time. You can't speak or anything like that. You really think, DM? I think there's a lot we don't know yet about one second. Okay, there we go. Sorry, my computer was freezing up there. And another thing that I think that Kaylee's family is doing, they are saying Kaylee's family is defending surviving roommates who saw Idaho murderer but didn't call police, says she was, quote, scared to death, and insists she's a victim too. I think it's very important that we don't shame. Yeah, you can't. And to be honest with you, I think that they would be out so quick. I think when she thought, the dog and her was playing, they were upstairs all the time. And if the lung was punctured too. Absolutely, Tracy. I was like, oh, wow, makes sense. Bryan wanted to get caught to prove he could get away with murder, possibly. I don't think he wanted to get caught, in my opinion. I think he thought he was so smart that he wouldn't get caught. The family of Idaho murderers victims, Kaylee, are defending the surviving roommates who claims she saw the murderer but failed to call police. Dylan, who survived along with fellow roommate Bethany, while her 4 friends were knifed to death on November 13, did not call police, but still gave information about the suspect to police. Attorney Sharon Gray told Fox News. I cannot imagine Dylan knowing that 4 people was dead, 2 beside of her and 2 above her, would just go to sleep. She was either A, scared to death, or B, she had no idea. She had no idea. And I will tell you this. I have seen people be really terrible, heard people be really terrible to Dylan. But the 4chan, I have never seen people be as dirty in my life. I didn't even know people could be that dirty. I did not even know. And she could be the one that puts this monster away forever. And I also believe that if he saw her, she wouldn't be alive today. Not a doubt in my mind. Gray, who was representing Kaylee's family, said Dylan was likely scared to death when she encountered the man, and insisted that she was, quote, still a victim in this case. And she is a victim in this case. The families are victims in this case. You are right, Becky. 4chan is. I never even knew what 4chan was until this case. And I was like, felt like a church boy. It's like, my God. Quote, the fact that she was able to give some additional identification, I think it's beneficial in this case, Gray said. Quote, she was able to give kind of the type of build and what the suspect looked like a bit, bushy eyebrows, things along those lines. Kaylee's family are the latest to defend Dylan after the roommate of a woman who suffered a brutal 1992 attack said she also had a delayed response during the similar scenario. And that's a picture of Dylan. They are following her, which is a shame. Kaylee and Madison, both 21, Xana and Ethan, both 20, which we knew that. This week, the probable cause affidavit revealed that, okay. Where was the second part? She heard the suspect say, quote, I'm okay. I'm here to help you. Do you guys think that was Bryan, or do you feel that was Ethan? I kind of feel like it was Bryan. For a long time, I felt like it might have been Ethan, but now I kind of feel like it was Bryan. Like, I can picture, like, I feel like Xana went to go get the food, and then, like, he's, like, standing there, it's just what I picture in my head. It's obviously no factual basis or anything, but, and, like, he's, like, standing in the hallway or something. He's like, "That's okay, I'm going to help you," or something. It's just weird. Ethan was found in bed. Can you imagine? Oh my God. A man standing in front of you, like with a basically a machete, and like, guys, like, this knife, this is the thing to light my candles with. Like, this knife was like this long. Do you know how thin those girls were? Think about how thin they were. They were so thin. And think about how big that knife was. That knife, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. That knife could have punctured nearly all the way through them. Especially Maddie. Maddie was very tiny. Maddie was very tiny. But, you think about that. Oh my God. I thought about that since it happened, was so tiny they are, and they're suffering. Yeah. But you just think about that. I was thinking, someone had a knife. One of, like, their husband had a knife, and, like, she was, an average size girl, and she put it next to, like, her side, and it was like, you just can't imagine. I mean, these knives, you can even dig, like, trenches and stuff with them. You're exactly right, Zen. I mean, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. If you are stabbed one time with that knife, it's over. It's pretty much over. And to bleed out, yes. Hold on, do I still have that video? I may still have that video. Hold on, I think I still have it. 1 second.
In the beginning, most of us believed the two surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on a...
Okay, it kind of buffers a little bit. I apologize, but it's very important. I'm going to make it full screen. Hold on, how do I do this?
We've learned that Xana was found on the floor, which might explain the thud.
It's a...
Dylan again hears something and looks outside her door. She sees this.
Can you hear me? I went to potty. I'm here. What time the dog started barking? Okay. That is very creepy. I need to redo that because when I recorded it, it was buffering for some reason. It was muted the whole time. Yes, that was it. LB, that was it. LB. And LB is an average size gal, right? She's, she's not big, she's not small, like super skinny. And like it would have almost completely went through her. And it was sad. I can't believe there was no sound for the video. Movie posters. I implore you to show off some 4 movie posters, Justin. I sent you a good 10 of them. I don't know what. I implore you to show off 4. Do you mean 4chan? I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry. Yes, we did not hear the flush. I didn't go pee. Sandy. I don't know. But it's here was the Papa Rodger thing. Let me show you this. Y'all are so funny. Did it pop up? Okay. Let me make this. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Pardon me. I didn't realize I had to have my. I'm not used to this program. That's why you guys didn't hear me a minute ago. That's why you didn't hear anything. Jesus, I'm sorry. Sorry. So people are saying that Papa Rogers could be Bryan Kohberger. And on December 5th, he was talking about, based on the evidence, this is where I believe Xana was found. And clearly that is where Xana was found after the affidavit came out, but this was beforehand. And so it says the comments and questions posted by the now detected Papa Rogers Facebook page has gone viral as people debate whether or not Papa Roger could have been Kohberger himself, with some people even creating Facebook groups into the unproven theory. Some people have called the comment poster Papa Rogers, and they spell it Papa Rogers different ways, but the real Papa Rogers was Papparodger, not with an S. Kohberger is Washington State University criminology student who was accused in the knife attack murder of Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and Madison. The 4 students in the University of Idaho were stabbed to death in the off-campus rental home on November 13, 2022. The way Papa Roger writes, is very similar to what we know Bryan Kohberger wrote in his survey kind of thing that he wanted to do. I think anyone frequenting the Incel group needs to be on watch alert. Yeah, I agree. But look how true crime sleuths have compared Papa Roger writing in the University of Idaho murder case discussion group to the writing style in the Reddit survey that Kohberger posted as a student investigator into the thoughts and feelings of criminals. That they believe that Papa Roger's Facebook profile picture, although it is actually an artist rendering of a soldier, strongly resembles Kohberger. Now, I'll give him that. I do believe it strongly looks like Kohberger, personally. It has not been proven that Papa Roger was Bryan Kohberger, and people online have argued both for and against the theory in profile or in Facebook and Reddit comment threads. It is not clear when Papa Rogers last posted because other pages have sprouted up using the name since it went viral. There are also TikTok videos devoted to the Papa Roger theory. And regardless of what has been released, I believe this was sexually motivated. Papa Rogers writes, I don't know if it'll let me. Hold on. Maybe it will. Oops, I think I shared that twice. Okay, that wasn't it. Screen. And as you see here, these are very strange things. Papa Rogers writes, they are looking for a very specific knife. Papa Rogers writes, Dustin, curious, why are you debating the sheath theory so hard? Papa Rogers was one of the first that says, the only one that I can think of that talks about a sheath, which is interesting to me. It's very interesting to me. I mean, who would have thought that they left a sheath We don't know. We simply don't know if it's him or not. I mean, it's all I'm saying is whoever Papa Rogers is, he's very intelligent when it comes to criminology, like studying it, or I mean, it's just very interesting. Anyone freaking sheath was planted. You think the sheath was planted? Who would it be planted by? I don't think the sheath was planted at all. I don't see how it could be planted. Why would it be planted? Okay, 1 second. Is he still posting? I don't know, because there's so many. There's been so many people who. Yeah, I don't think it was planted at all. I heard another detective mention there could have been a sheath left behind. I wonder if that's something that. It could be something that often happens in stabbings. I mean, why would anyone plant it with his DNA though? I mean, he had to be shitting like bricks when he knew he left that there. But I also want to know, like, how did he carry that knife out? You know, you wonder, like, how do you carry that knife out if you don't put it back into the sheath? Do you just walk out carrying a knife after you committed these murders? You know what I mean? Is the adrenaline so, and you're just trying to get out of there? Do you have this knife, right? Scissors, right? Do you have this knife and you're just walking out? You would think there would be, droplets of blood coming off of it or whatever. Does he put it in his, you're not going to put a knife like that in your pocket. Did he put it like inside of his coat? Under his arm, maybe? Well, Kaylee's parents, they said that they really hope, or not Kaylee, Maddie's parents, Kaylee's parents, I apologize. Kaylee's parents said that they really hope that she pulled it off. A bag? I mean, maybe a bag, but I can't imagine. A backpack, possibly. But are you going to bring a backpack? No. I just dropped my vape. He realized it was leather, so he left it on purpose. No. Maybe he wrapped it in the girl's clothes or something. Potentially. According to Steve, the Wi-Fi inside the house shows Bryan's phone tried to connect. Yes, Alabama mom. Bryan has been there at a minimum of 12 times, and his devices have tried to connect previously. Did he hide it in the house? No. Nope, I don't think he had it in the house. I think in the frenzy he was in, I think it was a frenzy. I agree. I mean, let me see here. let me pull up something in what am I looking for? Affidavit. Let me pull up this affidavit here. And here we go. Screen. All right. What does it say? I want to look at something. DM stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Can y'all see this? Okay, yeah. Stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one upstairs bedroom, which she located on the third floor. Now, in my mind, I can picture Kaylee being loud playing with her dog upstairs, get over, and like, kind of girly voice, right? I can picture that. Being down below and, the dog romping and everything. And we know the dog was hyper because we've got the dog, I think with a video of Adam, just like literally going all over the house, right? I can picture that. That makes sense to me personally. Which located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Kaylee say something to the effect of, quote, "There's someone here." A review on record obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed that could have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake using the TikTok app at 4:12 a.m. So they were still eating, right? Xana and Ethan, they just got their food. So they were still eating. It would make sense. They were probably eating in their bedroom. Fast food. And that was at 4:12 a.m. Dylan, stated she looked out of her bedroom but didn't see anything. When she heard the comment about someone being in the house, Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Xana's room. And she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." So Xana heard something and she said, "Oh, someone here?" Or I can picture her saying, "Is someone there?" I think it says there was a DoorDash. I don't know where it says that. Let me check. Okay. Now, to me, this is what I feel like. Thank you, Leah. Excellent tonight. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. It means a lot. It really does. But So when she says she hears a male's voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," I also wonder when someone says, "There's someone here," I wonder if she is saying, "Is someone there? Is someone here? Is there someone here?" And then I also wonder when the male voice says, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," I wonder myself, I don't know if Bryan is saying that, or did Ethan say something to the effect of, "Can I help you?" Like, is someone there? Can I help you? Like that as well. So, just my thoughts. But we have to go by what the affidavit says. And the affidavit says there's someone here, and a male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet away from Kernodle's bedroom. All right. And what time? So at 4:12, nothing is going on. Nothing. 5 minutes later is when they hear a thud, the dog barking, the voices, or a whimper. 5 minutes later. From a security camera that was less than 50 feet away. Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose. Mouth and nose, just as mouth and nose. It just means just like a regular mask, maybe. Walking towards her, Dylan described the figure of 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked toward the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe the murderer left the scene. The combination of Dylan's statement to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and video of the suspect, video as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the process of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print that was located during the second processing of the crime scene by ISP forensic team by first using presumptive blood test and then amino black. The other day I was going to do a how the blood test work and the amino black acid worked, how they process them at the time. A protein that detects the presence in cellular that detected a shoe print showed a diamond shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a van-type sole shoe. I wonder if they have any pictures with Bryan. Take care, Kevin. I wonder if they have any photos of Bryan in Van shoes. That would be interesting to know. I just can't walk away. DM was right down Maddie's room near Xana's room. I don't believe that she was just lucky of the situation. Vet Girl says every time you hear this, you always pick up something new. Yes, that is true. Always something new. During the process of the crime. Okay, I found that. I already read that. I can see Bryan wearing Vans. He looks like the type that would wear Vans. I like Vans. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive I'm just thinking, hold on. He had to have something on the bottom of his shoes if they picked that up, right? They had to have something on the bottom of his shoes. Thank you, Patty. Is it possible that he couldn't retrieve knife from a body? Not that big of a knife. No. Now, I would say under a normal knife, the knife can break off, but not with the knife that he had. This knife, you can actually, it's rated to dig trenches. Aaron, I wondered that myself. I'm like, is it just one shoe print, or are they not being specific for a reason? Yeah, that knife isn't breaking. Exactly, Jason. The knife is not going to break. But, is there has to be more than one shoe print. The tip could easily break off in the bone. I don't know. And I don't think it can just be just one shoe print. Why one? As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to the law enforcement as video canvas, was conducted in the area of King Resident Road. The video canvas was obtained any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022 in the area of King Residence Road and surrounding neighborhoods in the effort to locate the suspect or suspects' vehicle traveling to or leaving the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area of both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have been had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similar reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound on the 700 block drive of Moscow at 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue, Idaho State Highway 95 at approximately 3:28 a.m. On the video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained by King Road neighborhood shows multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by 1122 King Road residents and then leave via Walenta Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there was only a few cars that entered and exit the area this time frame. So I can imagine with just, it not being a very, a very, high traffic area during those times, it wouldn't be hard to keep your eye on this car, right? There's probably just a few cars that pass maybe every hour during that time of night. It's pretty much a one-horse town during that time. The car and the car on the video right before and after the murders, yeah, good evidence. Sounds like just hoping Bryan's license plate was visible. Could be blurry, though. Does Pennsylvania require you to have a front license plate? Does anybody know? I'd kind of like to know that if that was the case. Okay. Suspect's vehicle can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. This is where the rubber hits the road, guys. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back. So it goes to the end of King Road there, where King and Queen meet, and it pulls up, it backs out, and then it goes back in. The King Road resident, it is appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a third point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of King Road residence at approximately 4:20 at a high rate of speed. I wonder if those tire marks, like I really wonder if those tire marks are Bryan's. I wonder if they can get the tire tread marks off, if they got the tire tread marks off of his car versus those spin marks. That would be interesting. Pennsylvania does not require a front license plate. Okay. Pike County cast 3 crime scenes, 8 people. Well, I mean, you just think of how fast these murders, how fast he took 4 lives rather, in just a few moments. He had to go in there with so much rage and anger that he controlled it somehow. I believe that the suspect's vehicle, one likely the neighborhood on Palouse Road. Okay, where was that? the one part. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicles, when the forensic examiner initially believed that the suspect's vehicle was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, upon further review, he indicated it could have also been a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. Now, at this time, they already knew who it was. They already kind of had an idea that it was not a 2011 to 2013, that it was indeed a 2011 to 2016, and they pretty much knew who the guy was. They didn't let the public know. But I think that's because they didn't want to, give it off to to Bryan. That's the reason they didn't give much, because they realized Bryan, is in, criminology. The important piece, in my opinion, right now is what was found in the apartment in his car. Have to wait until March. I know. God, it's going to be long. So, very good. Very good. All right, guys. Everything good in chat? Okay, we'll continue this later. Got a lot to talk about. I have to, yes, let's all get along, please, and thank you. Please and thank you. Dallas Cowboys are starting. Woohoo! All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. I have to be up at 5 in the morning. It's back to school tomorrow for the children's. So please hit the like on your way out. I've been here almost 2.5 hours. Thank you, 3 Dot. Appreciate you guys. God bless each and every one of you. I appreciate it. Take good care of yourself. Hug the ones you love. Thank you for everything. Good night and God bless.